Once upon a time, in a village in Africa, there lived a little girl called Josa. She loved stories, and every evening she would gather around the village elders and eagerly listen to their folk tales. Josa cherished most narratives, especially the ones that were about daring adventures and heartwarming friendships. As she sat there listening to these stories, she would try and guess what the ending of the story might be. And if it was something joyous, her face would light up with wonder. And if the story began to take a turn for the worse, or the ending was sad, Josa would immediately walk away from the storytellers. There was a tiny little shed at the back of her home where her favorite cows would be resting in the evenings. So she would go sit right next to the cows and she would lean against them and make up her own happy endings to the same stories. Are you like Josa? Come to think of it, do you think most of us are like her? Do we all like stories that have a very happy ending? Well, in this episode, we have a collection of 3 very happy news stories. Hi, this is Sangeeta, the host of this Kids and Family podcast channel, What's New Today, where I chat with curious children from anywhere in the world about interesting news stories from the world of science, technology, movies, sports, and even countries and conflicts. Joining me in today's episode are 3 children from Bosco Public School in Delhi.
Hi, I'm Anmol Kumar. I'm 9 years old.
Hi, I'm Lux. I'm 9 years old.
Hi, I'm Tamanna Malhotra and I'm 13 years old.
Welcome to this podcast channel. I'm really excited to chat with the 3 of you, especially when you all have cherry-picked 3 really interesting and happy news stories from around the world. Let's begin with the first news story. But before we jump into that story, let me ask you all one trivia about the news story. The lion is called the king of the jungle in Africa. Do you know which animal is called the king of the jungle in the Amazon rainforest?
Tiger?
There are no tigers in the Amazon rainforest. I'm very sorry to say that.
Lions?
There are no lions, unfortunately, in the Amazon rainforest. So lions are either found in Asia or Africa only, and tigers are found only in Asia. But Anmol, your answer was very close. The answer is a jaguar. Have you all seen a photograph of a jaguar?
I'm a jaguar. Love swimming.
Jaguar loves swimming.
Because there is many rivers in Amazon rainforest.
Yep, that is correct. People have been cutting Amazon rainforest for a really long time, but there has been a very big change.
Change is the decrease in the deforestation which the government has created.
Wow! So people who used to cut down a lot of trees in the Amazon have now stopped cutting those trees, correct?
No, ma'am, they have not stopped it. They are slowing down their cutting, and ma'am, the government has decided to end the deforestation in the Amazon rainforest by 2030.
Oh, so they've not stopped cutting, but they're now cutting fewer trees, and they will probably completely stop cutting by 2030. Wonderful. I'm very excited to see this. One of the big reasons why this deforestation or the cutting of trees has reduced in the Amazon rainforest is thanks to the new leader that Brazil has elected. His name is Lula. If his government finds anybody cutting trees, they are penalized. That means they have to pay a very big fine to the Brazilian government. Do you think asking people to pay a fine is the best way to stop them from cutting the rainforest?
Ma'am, I don't think paying fine is enough. I think such people need to be kept in the prison for more than 10 years. I would suggest that they would be in the prison for their lifetime.
Oh my god, you're going to make one very strict and powerful leader if you got elected as the leader of a country. Have y'all seen the movie Madagascar?
Yes, I've seen it. It was about animals who were in a zoo, kept in a city. They wanted to go to Madagascar because there was a good quality of forest, so they managed to escape.
Yeah, brilliant. The next very positive and interesting news story is about something that's happened in the island of Madagascar, which has nothing to do with any animals that have escaped from a zoo. 3D printing.
It is about a young 23-year-old Maggie Brown. Maggie Brown is using 3D printer to create schools because there are many children in Madagascar who are without access to education.
So, why does she need to use a 3D printer? Why can't you just go and build a school there the normal way?
Because 3D printer is a way that can build schools faster than using traditional method of construction.
How much time will it take to build a one-room school if you use 3D printing?
In less than 24 hours.
Wow. And very interestingly, Maggie Grout calls each of these classrooms a thinking hut. Is that what you think you all do sitting inside a classroom? Do you all do a lot of thinking or do you do a lot of mischief?
But if we do mischief when someone is teaching you, we won't be able to give an exam.
I know giving exams is a little bit of a challenge, unfortunately.
But we can only do it in lunch break because there is time.
Okay, so maybe it's a mischief hut during lunch break, and the rest of the time we'll call it thinking and writing hut. Speaking of Madagascar, an island with a lot of exotic animals, we now move on to the third super happy news story. Before we jump into that, I've got a trivia question for all of you. Can you name any creature that is super flexible?
Cheetah, because it can climb trees.
It can climb trees, okay. Vilaksh,
Weasel.
you think is a weasel?
Weasel.
Why is a weasel very flexible?
Because I saw it is so much thin.
It is so thin.
Yes.
I think monkeys are the most flexible because they can jump from one tree to another. They can hang from anywhere.
Some of the most flexible creatures in the world have no bones. That makes it very easy, right? For you to flex. So which creatures can you think of without any bones?
Ma'am, jellyfish?
Jellyfish, yes. So octopuses, jellyfish, these are considered some of the most flexible creatures on earth. So speaking of flexibility, we'll now jump into our third very interesting and happy news story.
Elephant yoga. It's weird but interesting also. Elephants doing yoga at Houston Zoo and Denver Zoo to stay healthy.
So can all elephants do yoga? Any elephant in the zoo do yoga?
If I talk about Houston Zoo, Billy and Tessa are the two elephants. Tessa is a 42 years old elephant, and she is very flexible. All the poses like dog pose and stretching and lying down on four limbs. Whereas a 25 years old elephant, Emma, does not do yoga and faces health issues. So not all elephants do yoga.
Do they have some very interesting yoga music in the background for the elephants to relax?
No meditation music.
What's the most fascinating pose that you've read about that an elephant can do?
How they can lift their body on their forelimbs. Two front limbs are on the ground and their whole body is in the air.
Wow, like a handstand.
Yes.
Wow, an elephant doing a handstand. That is really something.
Fascinating.
Anmol, Vilaksh, Tamanna, are you ready for the next super interesting part of this episode, the quiz time? Based on what we've just discussed, I thought we'll have 3 quiz questions so our listeners can test if they were paying careful attention to today's episode. Yeah? All right. Here's the first question. Which country's leader has managed to reduce the amount of forests being cut down in the Amazon?
Brazil.
Second question. In which island off the coast of Africa is a new school being built using a 3D printer?
Madagascar.
And the last and the final question. What is very unique about the elephants in the zoos of Denver and Kansas City in the United States?
They can do handstand. Their flexibility is so high and they are so fit.
Thank you so much, the 3 of you. I had a lot of fun chatting with you about these super happy and positive news stories. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Yes, Mama, we had a lot of fun.
And before we wrap up this episode, I've got a very interesting riddle for all of our listeners. And the riddle goes, how many months in a year have 28 days in them? If you know the answer to this, and if you're listening to this episode on Spotify, just scroll right down below and you'll find a place where you can leave your answer to the riddle. If you're listening to this on any other podcast channel or platform, you can email me your answer at hello@wsnt.in. I love reading the interesting answers that all the children send my way. New episodes on What's New Today are published every Monday and Friday. I'll see you soon. Don't forget to click follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. Thanks for listening.